30 knights, 100 crossbowmen, and 300 men-at-arms made up the rest of Dragonstone's garrison. That had always been deemed sufficient for a fortress of such strength. As an instrument of conquest, however, our army leaves somewhat to be desired, Prince Daemon observed sourly. A dozen lesser lords, bannermen and vassals to Dragonstone sat at the Black Council as well. Celtigar of Claw Isle, Staunton of Rook's Rest, Massey of Stone Dance, Bar Ammon of Sharp Point, and Darkling of Duskendale amongst them. But the greatest lord to pledge his strength to the princess was Corlys Valerian of Driftmark. Though the sea snake had grown old, he liked to say that he was clinging to life like a drowning sailor clinging to the wreckage of a sunken ship. Mayhaps the Seven have preserved me for this one last fight. With Lord Corlys came his wife, Princess Rhaenys, 55, her face lean and lined, her silver hair streaked with white, yet fierce and fearless as she had been at 22, a woman sometimes known among the small folk as the Queen Who Never Was. Those who sat at the Black Council counted themselves loyalists, but knew full well that King Aegon II would name them traitors. Each had already received a summons from King's Landing, demanding they present themselves at the Red Keep to swear oaths of loyalty to the new king. All their hosts combined could not match the power the High Towers alone could field. Aegon's Greens enjoyed other advantages as well. Oldtown, King's Landing, and Lannisport were the largest and richest cities in the realm. All three were held by Greens. Every visible symbol of legitimacy belonged to Aegon. He sat the Iron Throne, he lived in the Red Keep, he wore the Conqueror's crown, wielded the Conqueror's sword, and had been anointed by a septon of the faith before the eyes of tens of thousands. Grand Maester Orwell sat in his councils, and the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard had placed the crown upon his princely head. And he was male, which in the eyes of many made him the rightful king, his half-sister the usurper. Against all that, Rhaenyra's advantages were few. Some older lords might yet recall the oaths they had sworn when she was made Princess of Dragonstone and named her father's heir. There had been a time when she had been well loved by highborn and commons alike, when they had cheered her as the realm's delight. Many a young lord and noble knight had sought her favour then, though how many would still fight for her now that she was a woman wed, her body aged and thickened by 6 childbirths, was a question none could answer. Though her half-brother had looted their father's treasury, the princess had at her disposal the wealth of House Valerian, and the sea snake's fleets gave her superiority at sea. And her consort, Prince Daemon, tried and tempered in the Stepstones, had more experience of warfare than all their foes combined. Last, but far from least, Rhaenyra had her dragons. As does Aegon, Lord Staunton pointed out. We have more, said Princess Rhaenys, the Queen Who Never Was, who had been a dragon rider longer than all of them. And ours are larger and stronger, but for Vhagar, dragons thrive best here on Dragonstone. She enumerated for the council. King Aegon had his Sunfire, a splendid beast, though young. Aemond One-Eye rode Vhagar, and the peril posed by Queen Visenya's mount could not be gainsaid. Queen Helena's mount was Dreamfire, the she-dragon who had once borne the old king's sister, Rhaena, through the clouds. Prince Daeron's dragon was Tessarion, with her wings dark as cobalt and her claws and crest and belly scales as bright as beaten copper. That makes 4 dragons of fighting size, said Rhaenys. Queen Helena's twins had their own dragons too, but no more than hatchlings. The usurper's youngest son, Maelor, was possessed only of an egg. Against that, Prince Daemon had Caraxes, and Princess Rhaenyra Syrax, both huge and formidable beasts. Caraxes was especially fearsome, and no stranger to blood and fire after the Stepstones. Rhaenyra's 3 sons by Laena Valerian were all dragon riders. Vermax, Arax, and Tyraxes were thriving and growing larger every year. Aegon the Younger, eldest of Rhaenyra's 2 sons by Prince Daemon, commanded the young dragon Stormcloud, though he had yet to mount him. His little brother Viserys went everywhere with his egg. Rhaenys own she-dragon Meleys, the Red Queen, had grown lazy, but remained fearsome when roused. Prince Daemon's twins by Laena Valerian might yet be dragon riders too. Baela's dragon, the slender pale green moon dancer, would soon be large enough to bear the girl upon her back. And though her sister Rhaena's egg had hatched a broken thing that died within hours of emerging from the egg, Syrex had recently produced another clutch. One of her eggs had been given to Rhaena, and it was said that the girl slept with it every night and prayed for a dragon to match her sister's. Moreover, 6 other dragons made their lairs in the smoky caverns of the Dragonmont above the castle. There was Silverwing, good Queen Alisanne's mount of old; Seasmoke, the pale grey beast that had been the pride and passion of Sir Laena Valerian; hoary old Vermithor, unridden since the death of King Jaehaerys; and back of the mountain dwelled 3 wild dragons, never claimed nor ridden by any man, living or dead. The small folk had named them Sheep-stealer, Grey Ghost, and the Cannibal. Find riders to master Silverwing, Vermithor, and Seasmoke, and we will have 9 dragons against Aegon's 4. Mount and fly their wild kin, and we will number 12, even without Stormcloud, Princess Rhaenys pointed out. That is how we shall win this war.